What is up, wrestling fans, and all rise for a special WrestleMania 41 Roundtable edition of the Parts Unknown podcast. I am, of course, the tribal chief of Ringside Intel, Jason Burgos, and with me, as always, is my right-hand man, the Jay Uso of this show, Jose Maldonado. But we are joined this week by a special guest. First is the Jimmy Uso of this new faction in this roundtable. He is a contributor for Ringside Intel, but is also an editor for our sister site, Sportsnot, and that is Philly fanatic himself, Matt Higgins. Senor Higgins, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time here.
Thank you for having me, Jason. I just got out of the hospital after getting my ass whooped by Gunther the other week, so it's a pleasure to be here as your Jimmy Uso, as your Big Jim.
There you go. I appreciate that as well. Also, our second guest tonight is my what you might call my video enforcer, dropping impactful visual content for Ringside, like Solo Sikoa handing out Samoan spikes. He also has his very successful WrestleStar YouTube channel, and that is Andrew Ravens. Senor Ravens, thank you also for joining.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Let's talk some wrestling.
I'm excited for this. This is the first time we've done a full-on roundtable, but it's worth it. It's WrestleMania. WrestleMania is about a week or so away. Have a ton to talk about. As always, please, wherever you're watching or listening to this, please like, share, subscribe, comment, give us your thoughts as we go through these predictions. So, of course, we're going to go into just pure WrestleMania 41 predictions and thoughts. We're going to start with night one. Eventually make our way to night two. It's like 13, 14 matches. Most of them are confirmed. There's still that probably going to be confirmed maybe tonight when we record the SmackDown, maybe next week. But first, let's go into the WWE Women's Championship that has Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte Flair. One of the weirder buildups, just because these two just don't like each other, which is always fun. When people legitimately don't like each other, what that maybe brings to the match when we see it on the night of the event. We've gotten headlines on Ringside. We've covered it. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte's weird promo where things got real personal. People mentioned Charlotte's 3 divorces. Other people tried to mention boyfriends in their DMs, which is complete fabrications, fake news. So first, Andrew, I'll go to you. What are you feeling on this fight? How do you think this fight's going? Can the champ retain on night one?
Whoa! Oh, that's a bad one. No, Charlotte Flair is here to take over. She's here to dethrone Tiffany Stratton, and she's here to just etch another notch onto her soon to be record-breaking title reign, I believe. I think she's going to set the world title record. Step aside, Ric Flair. Step aside, John Cena. The Queen is coming your way. I think she's going to win it. What do y'all think?
Jose, what do you think? I'll go to you next.
Man, coming in hot, Andrew, with the take, you know what I mean? Just like, whew, behind the Queen. But it's so funny, you mentioned really quick the amount of matches on the cards. Remember when this all used to be on one night and used to be like 7 hours long? That's pretty wild to think about. But in terms of this match, now I got to go the other direction on this. I think this is Tiffany's, chance to shine. With the feud that's been going on, it's been, throwing kind of things at the wall in terms of getting personal, grasping at straws and trying to get attention. And it's been surprisingly effective. You know what I mean? Like, they've been making headlines, whether it's for the right reasons or not. But I don't think it serves any purpose to give the title back to Charlotte outside of the record that Andrew mentioned, catching up to Daddy Flair. That would be, the ultimate goal for Charlotte. But I think it serves everybody the best if Tiffany comes out on top, just looking like the star that they've been presenting her as, since she's gotten to the main roster.
Mr. Higgins, what your thoughts? Are you in agreement? What are you feeling on this?
Yes, I am total agreement with Jose. It's going to be Tiffy time at WrestleMania 41. It's time for Tiffy to be shooting up into the stratosphere, and it's going to be her time to shine when she defeats Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and it's going to catapult her into just like superstardom. This is her time to rise. She's going to have a long title reign after this match.
Well, I'm going to have to go the other way with Andrew, and I hate every bit because I don't want to see that. Like, I'm just so tired of Charlotte. She's getting go away heat. I just feel like they don't bring her back. They don't have her win the Rumble. Now, obviously, everything can change. This is a different regime, but I just feel like they don't have her win the Rumble to lose. This is kind of like her, just that she's getting the title back. They're going to invest with her. I don't know why they love her, but even Triple H absolutely loves her. Thinks she's a star. Maybe it's to be just the beginning of a feud and Tiffany gets it back. I just unfortunately think she's going to get it back. Though I wish with her antics the last few weeks, I wish she would be punished and lose it and lose this match. But I think we're gonna have to split the baby on this one. We're gonna go, 2-2 for everybody.
Just slide into her DMs and let her know.
if she wins against Stratton, it's gonna be Roman Reigns level boos that he got at Royal Rumble about like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was Tony Khan that said this week, like they don't listen to socials. So I mean, hopefully they listen to fans. But yeah, I agree. It's gonna get boos, but I mean, she's the bad guy now. So I mean, yeah, it's frustrating. Moving on from there, let's go into the United States Championship. LA Knight defends against my boy Jacob Fatu. I love me some Jacob Fatu. This one is interesting because you have this kind of backstory where it seems like obviously we're heading to a schism with Jacob and the remaining men and members of this side, new version of the Bloodline, Solo and Tama. I think Tonga Loa is probably maybe still a couple of months away. However, there's been rumblings maybe Hikuleo finally debuts, but I feel like this one's kind of predetermined a little bit. But first, I'll start with you, Mr. Higgins. Like, is this obvious where this is probably going? Does LA Knight actually lose to Jacob, or do they finally say, hey, yes, Jacob is a future star, we're going to pull the trigger here?
I want to hope that Jacob does win the U.S. title because, man, he just has superstar written all over him. And I already have him, picked as my Royal Rumble winner for next year already. But I feel that Solo Sikoa is going to get involved somehow. But I don't think LA Knight's going to pin Fatu. I don't think they're going to have Fatu's shoulders pinned 1, 2, 3. Something's going to happen where like Fatu gets disqualified, something of that nature. Solo Sikoa does a run in, Tamatanga does a run in. Hell, even Longa might even show up too at some point because he's supposed to be coming back soon. So I think LA Knight will retain, but I just don't know how yet. Solo Sikoa does get involved and cost Fatu.
Jose, does LA Knight get a clean win at all, or as Matt's saying, it's going to be some kind of shenanigans going on?
Nah, I don't think there's going to be anything clean about this one, man. I really think there's going to be shenanigans all around. And yeah, it's time to really elevate Jacob Fatu, but not at the expense of LA Knight. I think he makes sense as the U.S. champ, and it makes storyline sense to have Jacob Fatu be continually frustrated with his people in the bloodline. I think they get involved, and whether it's by DQ, costing him the pin, whatever the case may be, that's the way that Jacob Fatu doesn't get the title here, and maybe he does get it down the line, maybe as soon as like SummerSlam or something if they want to go that route. But it serves them both to have LA Knight retain on the big stage while not sacrificing Fatu's momentum and just continuing that storyline in ways that doesn't necessarily have to have him get the title to continue to do so.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I just can't see them putting the belt on LA Knight and then taking it off him like a couple of weeks later. Andrew, do you agree? It's just gonna be a clean sweep. I mean, it's LA Knight. It's just as predictable. One of the more predictable matches on the card.
Everybody say with a megastar, yeah, LA Knight is gonna get it done. 1, 2, 3, and you best believe there's gonna be some shenanigans going on. Solo Sikoa is gonna get in there. He's gonna mix it up. He's gonna cost Jacob Fatu, and that's how they get to the first encounter. But yeah, LA Knight walks in and LA Knight walks out.
You're thinking Fatu's going to get pinned in all of this, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
That's huge.
If you're gonna beat him, make it count.
Fatu hasn't been pinned yet though since he's been to the WWE, correct?
I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're right. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. For it to happen on the big stage, that could that could be a really big.
And especially if it's Solo as part of it, it just adds more heat to that one. So yeah, I could totally see it that way. Now, moving on to the match with, honestly, a man who's taking WWE by storm, hugely popular, fascinating, just a fantastic performer in the ring, even interesting on the mic. And that is my boy, El Grande Americano, baby. That is my guy. It is not Chad Gable. It is somebody else. And he will be facing Rey Mysterio in a battle of... Yes, Charlie Hawk in a battle of true legendary luchadors. I mean, Jose, is there any way El Grande loses on the Grande stage?
Come on now, man. With all the training that he got on the backlots of Mexico, man, there's no way that he loses this match, man. He's coming in prepared, guns blazing. Nah, this has got to be a showcase for El Grande Americano. I would love if they, threw a swerve in this and made this like, some kind of stipulation, but I don't. Yeah, it can't be mask versus mask. Imagine Ray losing his mask, on the to Gable. Excuse me, El Grande Americano. That would make all kinds of headlines, but. Yeah, it's hysterical to me that allegedly Chad Gable is gonna get his WrestleMania moment and is gonna come under a mask under these circumstances. But he's the perfect dude to do that because he's shown time and time again. You throw things like this his way, he turns them into gold, and he absolutely deserves this moment. It's gonna be hysterical to see, and Ray's a pro, man. He's gonna shine him up real nice. It's gonna be a real fun show.
Andrew, does El Grande Americano, the best luchador in the world, continue his undefeated streak against Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania?
All right, so I got a little bit of a swerve for y'all. El Grande is going to go over. He's going to put on a showcase on the grandest stage. But watch out for Dominant Mysterio costing his father once again. Just calling it. Just calling it. It helps. It helps El Grande. He gets the win. He gets Dom on the show. Right? Why not? Well, no, Dom's word in the Fatal 4. But either way, why not? Let's have a little bit of fun. This prediction show. Why not? Go for it.
Mr. Higgins, how do you feel about this? Is there any chance El Grande loses?
I am going with the greatest living luchador in the world today.
El Grande!
El Grande Americano! I mean, how can you not? It's Chad's time to shine. Yeah. Everything, like Jose was saying before, everything you throw at Chad Gable, he just turns into like character gold. No matter how crappy it might be. And they're going to be able to do a lot with this storyline with the next several months to come. And it's going to start by him beating Rey Mysterio Jr. at WrestleMania 41.
All right, moving on. Also, I want to mention for those watching, please, drop a comment. You can get involved with the show. Give us your picks for those first two we've gone over. Do you think El Grande Americano is going to win? Moving on from there, this is an interesting one because this is one of the more interesting storylines on SmackDown. That is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And Naomi, honestly, I've never been a huge Naomi fan. I think she's kind of pretty much been the same character, just with slight adjustments in her look for like the last decade, but now she finally makes the heel turn, putting this chick's going for like Emmys the last few weeks. She has been fantastic with her performances. She's got Jade. Now I'm going to start off with this one. She's going to pick, and I did this on it's a big surprise I expect at WrestleMania on Ringside. I think we're going to have a Naomi win here. I think it would seem obvious. She's the big star. Naomi's kind of the veteran. She's here to take the L. She's the one who did the evil deed and knocking her out from Survivor Series. But I just feel like, one, Naomi's work has been fantastic. And two, we've seen the reports about Jade Cargill and her drama backstage. And I think this would be a perfect opportunity to send a message to Jade. Cool out with the ego. You got these people to work with. We can take away your fame real quick, and we're going to have you lose, and let's see how you handle it. Can you be a professional? Because you've had issues being a professional. So I'm going to pick an upset here with Naomi. Andrew, I'll go back to you. What do you think, Jade Cargill, Naomi?
I'm coming in with a hot tag. I'm right there with you. Naomi's going to get the pinfall. Look, Jade Cargill, she's been very protected over the first year in WWE. Yes. And Naomi, she's earned this win. And it really doesn't take away from Jade, especially if they throw in a stipulation, which Jade has called for. And you could always run it back in a rematch, do a stipulation, and have her win there. But give Naomi at least the first win. She's earned it. Performance, outstanding.
Mr. Higgins, what are your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'm going with both of you right now. She's doing a fantastic job with her villain persona. It's really great character growth right now for Naomi, who, like you said, has kind of just been like stagnant since she's gotten back. I mean, she had a tag team run with Bianca, but now this has elevated her to a different platform and showing fans like a different side of her that we've never seen before. And I think her last match on SmackDown last week I thought was really good.
Yeah,
and it seems like before then, there might have been seemed like there might have been like a couple botches here and there, but I'm going with Naomi on this one over Jade.
Yeah, and that's saying something because it was against BFAB that match,
It
right?
was, yeah.
And BFAB is like still very green, so to get a good match out of her is saying something about her ability because she's had issues in the past. Jose, are we gonna go a full sweep? Are we picking all Naomi? Or are you gonna mess this up?
I'm gonna mess it up. Begrudgingly. I'm gonna say I'm completely with you guys with the mindset, with everything except the result. I don't think they're gonna. I think they can't resist putting Jade over on the big, on the big stage. This is kind of what she's been working towards. I don't think they deviate from that. But Naomi's work over the past few weeks has given credence to what you guys are talking about. This is the most interesting Naomi has ever been. And I actually do like Naomi. I think she's, kind of an underrated worker in terms of at least being a pro and being able to carry a good match. She's kind of like Natalia in that thing to where she's like a veteran at this point who can, you can put a BFAB in there with her. And, I think her time in TNA helped to elevate her in that kind of respect. But I as much as I hate to say it, I think Naomi's going to serve the purpose of shining up Jade in this case, and they're going to sacrifice this character work to Jade to kind of send her off to whatever they have planned with her. I feel the thumbs down on that, but it's like, I think WWE doesn't deviate this much from that. They've invested too much in Jade to deviate at this point, regardless of how much Naomi has stepped up in the past couple of weeks. I don't think it's enough to throw the curveball in this case.
You're probably right, but I'm still gonna look for that remove button because you messed this up, man. We had a good thing.
I hope I'm wrong.
Moving on from there, I mean, WrestleMania, as good as it always is, this always kind of match is like meh, and this is definitely a match I could care less about. And it's the War Raiders. It was officially announced: War Raiders versus New Day. Excuse me, for the WWE Tag Team titles, the Raw titles. I mean, the War Raiders are good, and I'm glad they've really done a lot to update their kind of characters, their look. It was kind of stupid and a little ridiculous for a while. But I tell you, I was excited as anybody for the New Day heel turn, but I feel like it's been fumbled, and I don't think it's necessarily been fumbled by WWE. I just feel like it's been fumbled by Kofi and Xavier. Like, they're just not as interesting as they used to be, and in the ring, they're not as good as they used to be. First, Andrew, what do you think about, like, do you care about this match? And two, who do you think is going to win?
No, I do not care about this match. I think it'll be fine. But look, to your point, I don't put much stock or faith into WWE and their booking with the New Day. And to your point, it's weird because you can't split them up because what do? Right? Like Xavier Woods, he's a really good dude. He'd probably end up getting cut, right? If he's a singles. So I don't have faith. Just keep it on the War Raiders. Let's move this song along and get to the Nets feud.
Matt, one, do you care? Two, who's going to win?
Well, one, I do care because the New Day did ruin my holiday after kicking out Big E, and I still have not recovered. And I'm honestly still more shocked about the New Day heel turn than the John Cena heel turn.
Wow. Okay.
Two, they're bringing home the gold again.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to get a nice little heel tag team title run where they're going to win in the worst ways. They're going to hit people with kendo sticks, steel chairs for several months to come.
Jose, do you agree? One, do you care? Two, who's going to win?
Nah, don't really care. Which is unfortunate because I do like both teams, but nothing has really sparked the interest in this. And to your point, like the New Day heel turn, it was so effective to the point where when it happened, there was a little spark in me where it was like, is this the time that they elevate Xavier to like, the upper echelon? At least give that a shot. That did not turn out to be the case at all, and I think it's way too late for that now. But I'm with Matt on this one. I think the New Day pulls out the title victory because otherwise that heel turn is dead on arrival. Like there's absolutely completely wasted. If they can't even beat the War Raiders at this point, there's really no point in even continuing to showcase them. I think if they turned heel, give them the titles, have them elevate the next team that comes along, maybe the division as a whole. But otherwise, the heel turn would have been for naught. If they can't even at least get a title win on this kind of a stage, then what was the heel turn even for?
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I think they just have to win. And also, I just feel like War Raiders have had the titles. They've had that opportunity to make something of it. And I just don't think they've made much of it. And they are good performers in the ring, and they allow their finishing move and they have good things for them, but the division needs more sizzle. And if maybe New Day gets the right kind of guys to play off, and it better not be the LWO for the love of God. But they get a good feud. They
Call
could
up
be
Fraxium. Give us Fraxium on the main
Oh my
roster.
God, Fraxium
Yeah.
was fantastic. Moving on from there, again, whoever watching, listen, please give us comments. Let us know what your picks are on this, and like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this. Now the number 2 match, big match on night 1, but also I didn't care. I care a little bit more, but the reason I'm kind of meh is because I feel like I know what's going to happen here. That's Gunther versus Jey Uso. Jose, is there any reason to believe, even though I mentioned it in our surprises for WrestleMania on Ringside, is there any reason that Jey Uso is going to lose? This is as in the bag a win as there is an entire card, no?
There is reason to believe, and it's all his fault. I don't want to place it entirely on Jay, but it's like this dude was given a golden ticket. The momentum was riding high, and it's almost like the Royal Rumble victory has been a curse, like a weight on his shoulders that had weighed down the momentum that he had before that. It's almost like, he was much better as the underdog. That's very much his wheelhouse. But when he got that guaranteed main event, that's when the questions started to come in. Can he handle that? Can he handle the lead up? Can he hang with Gunther and all of that stuff? And Gunther has been working triple overtime to make this feud feel, worth a damn. You know what I mean? And it's really sad when Jimmy has to come in and basically, sacrifice his body to make this feud like really feel like the intensity that it should have had from the beginning. Halfway through the build, it really felt that there was no shot that this was going to take either one of the main events for either night, which was kind of a given the star power of the other matches. But this should have had at least a play for one of those main events. Not the case, and it's a lot of that falls on Jay, unfortunately. I think he does get the win ultimately, because a lot like the New Day's heel turn, it would have all been for naught if you can't even cement this victory. But it's really kind of disappointing to see, especially if you're a big Jey Uso fan, to see the questions kind of really come to fruition with how he's kind of fumbled it a little bit.
Now, we've seen some Royal Rumble winners not go on and win. I think Alberto Del Rio, maybe he was one. The most annoying one is Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, he should have been AJ and he should have been champion. That was a big miss. Matt, are you in agreement? It's got to be Jay, or do you think there's some, case to be made Gunther should win?
I was honestly about to say that if Jay doesn't win, it might turn into like a Shinsuke Nakamura style career for Jay. If he loses at WrestleMania, it doesn't go over. He really turned it on this past week on Raw with that really powerful and emotional promo that he did, and looked like he kind of got into Gunther's head. But yeah, I do agree that he is best as an underdog, like Jose said. But maybe creative want to put that doubt to make that underdog role come out again in a way, so he wasn't like so like gung ho from the Rumble to Mania. They needed to put roadblocks up, but I do think he does win over Gunther at Mania, and hopefully his reign will last longer than he was as Intercontinental Champion.
Andrew, has Gunther and honestly Jimmy more than Jay, have they given you any reason to now care about this? And who do you think is going to win?
No. Jimmy, sorry, he got just brutalized by that man. No, look, I put the blame on WWE, actually. The decision to book Jey Uso versus Gunther at Saturday night's main event, 2 weeks before Royal Rumble? Why? That has hurt. You already have the underdog. You already have the loyal, supportive fan base of Jey Uso. You didn't need to beat him and then all of a sudden have him win the Royal Rumble. I don't know if that was a late decision. If that was on purpose, I question that decision. But I would say this. If you're a Jey Uso fan, hey, you're going to get your world title run. He's going to win the title, no doubt about that. But I also don't think he's going to have a long run, and it reminds me of like a Kofi Kingston type run in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I got nothing else to add to it. I agree. It's going to be Jay. Not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. It's just weird to see Gunther's reign end like that. But moving on to the main event of night 1. Maybe arguably the main event of the entire WrestleMania, the one that's really had some of the best storytelling. I remember when I heard rumors about this triple threat, I was like, that makes no damn sense that there's no title, but somehow The brilliance of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk have somehow turned a random rivalry triple threat. Never seen a rivalry triple threat in my life into meaning something. Jose, I'll start with you on this one. I mean, matter of fact, I will start on this one. I feel, and maybe you guys will agree. I feel like this has to be Seth's. I think he was the MVP of last year's WrestleMania. He did so much for body. He sacrificed himself and took the L on night one. Then on the second night, he lost to Drew McIntyre on the main event and took a chair shot to finish that story with Roman and Cody. And it just like Punk is just happy to be there. He doesn't need a win. Roman certainly doesn't win in his 11th WrestleMania main event. A record. I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins. Jose, is Seth Rollins your pick, or are you going somewhere else with this one?
You took the words right out of my mouth, man. Seth was absolutely the unsung hero of last WrestleMania, both days. Because I mean, the way he shined up Drew right before Drew lost his title, I think that shouldn't be forgotten as well. And even with this build, man, Seth, as interesting as Punk has been with the Heyman stuff, and Heyman has put in his part. Roman absolutely fantastic, especially with that last the contract signing, all of that stuff and the stuff with Heyman. Rollins has been the guy. Rollins has really stepped up in so many huge ways, time and time again. I think this is his "we owe you one, pal." I think this is where he cashes in, and they really give him the big moment, especially when people aren't really expecting it. Roman always gets the big moments, to kind of go his way. Punk, since he's come back, he's been working towards the WrestleMania main event. And I'm sure a lot of fans would, expect him to get the win. But I really think it serves everybody the best if Rollins gets the win here. Not just because, he's in a position to do so, but really because he deserves it.
Andrew, what's your pick? But also, has Seth Rollins done a surprisingly good job? And despite being sandwiched in between the two biggest faces on the company, has been able to stand out and do something, and is that been enough to make him win? Or are you going a different direction with this?
No, I agree. I think Seth Rollins, and might be a little bit of boldness, but I actually think he is a better promo now than he's ever been. And I think he's actually a better promo than an in-ring worker because he's gotten smarter in the ring and he really picks his spots. I'm going to go out and say, and maybe this is wishful thinking, I really hope that we get a massive swerve where Paul Heyman does align with Seth. That's been a rumor, speculation going around. I really hope we get that because it will continue not only the Seth-Roman feud, but it adds a layer to the Punk-Heyman, Reigns-Heyman type thing.
Matt, do you agree? Do we get heel Seth in a victory, or are you going somebody else?
Well, I was going to say Seth Rollins, but now I feel like I should have picked somebody else out of all of this. No, I'm going with Seth. I think the promo work he did this past Monday was fantastic, especially when he could have curb stomped Paul Heyman 6 feet under, and he did it. And Rollins said, "Hey, now you owe me a favor," scaring Paul Heyman half to death. I think a lot of people, like Jose said, are probably picking and hoping that CM Punk wins. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I truly think Rollins will win, and there's going to be some type of swerve happening in that match.
All right. Wherever you're listening, watching, like, share, subscribe, give us your thoughts. Who are your picks for the night one matches? Moving on to night two. The first match I want to cover is a match where it's AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. And what's funny is in AJ Styles, a recent interview he did, he mentioned one of his favorite match at WrestleMania was him versus Shane McMahon. And that Shane McMahon was able, Shane was able to put on a great match with it. And I feel like that's kind of this possibility. Logan Paul and AJ could have a really interesting barn burner with enough time to prepare. Matt, do you feel, one, that this match could be a show night two, but of all of WrestleMania, and who's your pick for it?
I think it will be a show stealer at WrestleMania. They're two incredible athletes. As much as I might not be a fan of Logan Paul, the person, he is a really good wrestler, and he picked it up fast. And he's gone full gung ho with it, and he's not messing around. And as much as I hate to say it, I think Logan Paul is going to win over AJ Styles.
Andrew, do you almost feel that this fight is also in the predictable category? Because we all know kind of AJ's leaving, and it makes sense for him to maybe get one more WrestleMania win. But we all know they have a big investment in Logan Paul. He has a ton of potential to bring in a bunch more money. It's just kind of predictable, and it's going to be Logan Paul for sure. Is there a case for AJ to win?
No, Logan Paul is going to get it done. Logan Paul will be a future WWE champion. I think Logan goes out there and he tries to steal the show every single time he's out there, and sometimes he can accomplish that. AJ, with his injury and everything, I think he's going to go out there and try to put one more classic together. It'll definitely be the match of the night. It could be the match of the weekend.
Jose, is there one? Are you also going Logan? And two, is there any chance going with what Andrew's saying that this could be a classic? Could it be enough to surpass AJ versus Undertaker Boneyard?
Oh.
Now that's a high bar to cross. You know what I mean? That is a one of one, that Boneyard match, and I think everybody involved would agree. But now I'm with you guys, and I think Logan's gonna get the win. I'm totally with Andrew in terms of Logan being a future world champion, and I'll take it a step further. I think Logan's next. I think he's gonna be the guy to take the title off of Jey Uso. I think if Jey Uso gets the win here at Mania, he holds it for a little bit, maybe even a SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, whatever the case may be. I think Logan catapults off this win of AJ and goes into the world title scene and becomes the guy. I think they're like you said, they're heavily invested in him. He's been, a really capable performer in there, and this is the perfect opponent to have for that. I mean, Logan has shown that with the prep time and everything, he can keep up with anybody in the ring. And AJ's the type of pro that will not let things get off the rails. This match has the potential to steal the entire weekend, and I think this is just the beginning of some great things this year for Logan Paul.
I like that. Yeah, no, go, Matt.
If Logan does win the title, do you think he could carry it into WrestleMania next year?
I don't think he'll go that long. Maybe something like Survivor Series to help elevate that event. But I wouldn't be surprised if like the Summer of Logan is a thing this year, and the title will be like the perfect thing to, he'd be the perfect guy as much as like you said, don't like Logan the person, but he draws eyeballs, and I think they can really capitalize on that with this.
Yeah, I love that Logan idea, and I also love the idea Logan beats Jay, he holds it, and then CM Punk takes it off of Logan. But that's right, baby, Punk. Now moving on from there. Now this one isn't really going to be a picks. This is going to be more of picking the winner. I'm going to want you to pick the opponent because Randy Orton's not facing Kevin Owens. Now Kevin Owens has this unfortunate neck injury. He's going to be out maybe a year, unfortunately. You got to get Randy on this card. Like, this guy was out a year. He's 45. He doesn't have a lot of WrestleManias left. You can't just bypass him and him not be on WrestleMania. So there's been a lot of rumblings about who he could face. Covered it today on Ringside. So I'm going to give you 5 options, or you can go with your other option to who is going to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41. One idea I threw out there, Trick Williams. We all know he's coming to the main roster. He's swan-songing it big time. He's going to probably end at NXT Stand Deliver. Maybe they bring him up and it's a special opponent versus Randy. Damian Priest, because there's been rumblings. Drew McIntyre's eye is not fully healthy. He might miss WrestleMania, so maybe they just put Damian versus Randy. They're both on SmackDown anyway. What about Malachi Black? We all know Malachi Black is coming soon. What a way to debut a heel Malachi Black. He beats Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It's full on like big entrance like Cody Rhodes got a few years back. Solo. We talked about Solo and talked about Jacob. Solo has no match. It's crazy. Yep. Solo has no match in the event. So maybe Solo gets Randy Orton. Or if we're going to the surprise, Miro, a.k.a. Rusev, has also reportedly re-signed. Maybe he's a surprise guy. Maybe takes the L, but hey, it puts Rusev in a big moment. He goes against Randy. He's right on the big stage right away. Jose, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think will be Randy if they go Randy, mystery opponent? Is it any of those 5 guys I mentioned, or is it somebody else you think?
As much as I would like for it to be Rusev Day at WrestleMania this year, I think if they're going the surprise route, Alistair's the better choice. Alistair works better kind of as a heel, as he's shown with the House of Black over in AEW, and this would be a perfect way to like get him back with plenty of momentum and just give him a big win over Randy Orton. I don't think Randy loses a bit taking this loss. It helps establish Alistair, Malachi going forward. Reestablishes him to the WWE fans and gives him a hell of a lot of momentum, whether it's on the SmackDown brand or whatever the case may be. If I'm going with a wild card other choice, imagine Magnus himself. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name right now,
Nick Aldis.
which is crazy. Nick Aldis, thank you so much. Nick Aldis getting a Mania moment out of nowhere. I'm not sure how ring ready he is, but he couldn't have taken that RKO too well. So wouldn't be surprised if straps up a little bit and gives Orton kind of a little showcase match here.
And imagine this, like he comes out to the ring, Randy, I have your opponent, they're both in the ring, and he starts taking off his suit and he breaks away his pants.
All
he's
Superman
got his
on everybody.
on, and it's like everybody's like, what? Andrew, well, what are your thoughts? Do you think any of the five I mentioned, Malachi, Rusev, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Solo Sikoa, or somebody else, if they go mystery opponent for Randy, any of those guys or somebody else?
I would love to see Nick Aldis get his WWE moment. I could easily see Miro or AKA Rusev get it done, but I think it is going to be Malachi Black, and I'll tell you why. If you look at Malachi and his WWE tenure, he was booked as efficiently as ever in NXT under Triple H's creative leadership, and I think he is going to get a significant run in WWE at first, a big push, if you will. But it's up to Malachi whether or not he takes advantage of it. And if he works 6-man tags his entire WWE tenure, I'm going to lose my mind.
Matt, what are your thoughts? Do you have any, you agree? Maybe it's Malachi, maybe it's Nick Aldis, a Trick Williams gets his debut, or somebody else. Who are you feeling to take over a mystery opponent?
I'm going mystery opponent. And Alexa Bliss will be leading out Uncle Howdy to get revenge for him trying to kill the Fiend by lighting him on fire.
Okay.
Uncle Howdy returns and puts down Orton.
I like that.
I'm getting chills already thinking about it.
I like that one, although I do the hilarity of Nick Aldis on taking all his clothes. That'll be hilarious. But all good ideas. Now let's move on to now this one is kind of not determined yet. Tonight on SmackDown, while we're recording this, there's going to be a gauntlet match. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, B-Fab, Michin, Alba Fire, and Piper Niven, and Natalya, Maxine Dupree to decide who will face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So I'm just going to go with this. Is there any reason to believe Raquel and Liv lose the titles at WrestleMania after just getting it a few weeks ago? Andrew, I'll start with you.
Absolutely not. There's no reasons to take the titles off of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They've done a fantastic job in the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Well, we are only just starting the sequel.
Matt agrees. Is there any reason, and is there any of those teams that you'd like to maybe see get a moment? Is it Maxine and Natalya? Is it Shayna and Zoe? Zoe's just completely pulled down by being next to Shayna, unfortunately. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, Lyra Valkyria maybe gets a moment. Or, who do you pick? If you got that, is there any reason they lose Raquel and Liv?
Honestly, if they were going to go this gauntlet route, they should have brought up Legend and Jackson.
Oh, yes.
NXT.
They should have won the titles already.
And given them their time to shine at WrestleMania if they were going to go the tag team route. Because, everybody else is obviously thrown together essentially outside of Chance and Katana and, Stark and Baszler. I think it'll probably be Lyra and Bayley going over, and then Bayley turns on Lyra at WrestleMania because she wants to hit her Continental Championship.
Yep, they hinted at that a little bit this past week. Jose, it's kind of crazy to think. If there's a case could be made, NXT has the two best tag teams. So the Jakara and Lash Legend are great. They should have won the titles already. They need to come up, and then Fraxim are fantastic. Jose, is there any reason to believe Liv and Raquel lose at all, or even get any good of real competition?
Not a chance. This is their moment to shine, and they're gonna do so. And I'm totally aligned with Matt on this one. I think it's gonna be Lyra and Bayley to be the opponents because they're the only ones that have even a crumb of storyline potential in terms of opponents. I think Bayley will turn on Lyra. They'll further their Intercontinental title feud on their own and shine up Liv and Raquel to get their Mania moment.
I'm all for that too, especially the turn just so Bayley can bring back her talk show ding dong hello and start saying you idiots again. Oh, please bring all of that back. Moving on from there, we're going to This match is an interest. Wherein I heard the rumors that this was probably where they were going, and I was like, and I think they've done a decent job of making it interesting. But Mago, do you at all care about Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, and who you
got? Honestly, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even though I do like both characters, I would say Drew McIntyre probably gets put over if I had my druthers. But for me, this unless this match like had some sort of stipulation that it'd be like a number one contenders match or something, it doesn't really register for me.
Andrew, do you care at all? And is there a case to be made? I can totally see Drew winning, but is there a case to be made that Damian should win? Maybe he needs it. Maybe they want to push him because Drew's pretty much golden at all.
I think Drew needs this win because he has been booked in big matches and lose them, right? So I think he needs a win. Get him a big win on the big stage. It doesn't hurt Damian, and we move it along. But it's weird because these are two interesting characters, yet their storyline, even though WWE has tried to put a lot of flair to it, it has not resonated. But I have Drew going over.
Jose, you are a staunch Damian Priest supporter. Do you think he actually gets the W here, or you're following with the rest of us? It's probably going to be Drew McIntyre.
As much as I love Damian, I'm aligned with y'all. This got to be a big win for Drew. Drew last year got his title taken away from him by Damian. This is the 180 on that, and Damian returns the favor and signs up Drew. I do kind of dig this match in terms of it kind of being a throwback to the old school grudge matches that used to be on the Mania card, something like a Warlord versus British Bulldog, except these cats can actually work. But like I do like that feel of it. I think Mania is better served when it has matches like this, where it's not necessarily about a title per se or something like that. Just a little bit of interest, give two guys, the ball and let them see what they can make out of it. These two are really good at doing stuff like that, especially Drew. He's in the Chad Gable mold of turning gold into anything you throw his way. And he deserves the win here. And I expect a big old horse fight. And who doesn't like a good old horse fight?
You like that man meat? You here for the man meat?
It's the meat, baby.
Okay, now moving on to this match, I think actually could be the show steal, along with Logan and actually, honestly, these next two, I think, to really be match of the night. This is first the Intercontinental Championship match. Braun Breaker, Penta, my boy Finn Balor should have been champion like 8 months ago. Dominic Mysterio. This is an interesting one because there's a lot of ways they can go. You have this kind of issues with the Judgment Day and Dominic and Finn. Penta's clearly become a star, and you can make a case. Okay, get him a big WrestleMania win right away. Champion. Braun Breaker, they got a lot invested in him. They pushed him big. He's getting even special development work with Paul Heyman backstage. They have big things for him. It would seem like a surprise if he loses here. Jose, I'm going to start with you. Who do you got in this one? And is there any case for someone like a Dominic Mysterio to get a surprise win and first title?
Dirty Dom is going over, y'all. This is going to happen. Dirty Dom is going to win the title here. It's going to happen. It's going to get nuclear heat in the best way possible. I really think they reward Dominic with a title win here. I love Braun, but I don't think he loses much by losing the title here. I think he goes on to bigger and better things. If Logan's my 1A to be the next in the in the line for a title, I think Braun is 1B on the Raw brand. Penta, I think it's too soon. I think he's doing fantastic things and doesn't necessarily need a title at this point. It's Dom's moment to shine, man. That dude has been a highlight ever since the heel turn. Week after week, people love this dude. He's over on social media. He's over with the fans, in the sense that he should be in terms of being a heel. And I really think he could do some really fun things, rubbing that title in Finn Balor's face and continuing that storyline. I think it's Dominic's time to shine. I really do.
And just the idea of let's say, let's say Braun Breaker doesn't even move on to another title. He stays in feud, and just a feud with Braun Breaker, this physical freak of an athlete against Dom, like him kind of going through the judgment just to get to Dom. Dom's always running. That'd be a lot of fun for the next couple of months. Andrew, who's your pick on this? Like, it's an interesting fight. And also, do you think it has a chance to be the match of night and night two?
It's definitely got the potential to be the match of the night, but y'all, it's right there in front of y'all. Just take it. Just reach out and take it. Braun Breaker is over like Rover. There's no reason to take the title off of him. We have Finn Balor in this match. You have Dirty Dominant Mysterio. They get into some kind of scuffle, or Dominant tries to, get one on over on Finn, and Braun absolutely just runs through Finn, spears him, 1, 2, 3, he's out of there. It's a slam dunk.
Matt, who you agree? Who's your pick for this one?
Dirty Dom, dirty Dom. I am going Dominic Mysterio all the way. It's time to put a belt on him. He like Jose said, he'll get nuclear heat by doing so. But I also think fans will actually like to see Dom have like a cheapskatey Intercontinental title run. Also, on the flip side, I don't think they've done much to elevate the Intercontinental title under Braun Breaker like this second time around. He doesn't wrestle much. It feels like on a weekly basis. Like this is like the the workhorse's championship belt. And it doesn't feel like they really built that up under Braun.
Yeah, it's been a weird thing with Braun Breaker and how he's kind of been bad and then he's good and he's bad again is good. Yeah, I think they kind of honestly missed an opportunity with Jey Uso. Jey Uso, when he won, they probably should have just let him keep it, and he could have been an interesting guy as he fights to keep the title. And Braun Breaker just has other feuds and stuff like that. But yeah, I was thinking Braun, but I think you guys have swayed me. I'm gonna go Dominic Mysterio too, just because there's always gonna be some sort of surprise at WrestleMania, and that could be an easy one for sure. Moving on to what I think could also be the night of the match of the night, maybe the match of the entire event. Io Sky defending her women's title against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. I mean, you can make a case these are the three best female wrestlers on the roster, and all three are on a path to be Hall of Famers in the future. Matt, I'll start with you. What is your feelings on this one? Are you excited about the match, and who do you think is going to win?
You have three kick-ass women who are ready to steal the show. You legit have three main eventers in that match with Io, Rhea, and Bianca. You can't go wrong with this match. And I think Io is going to go over. I think Rhea and Bianca are going to be so intertwined the entire match and try to get one over on each other that they're going to forget about Io, like they've done for the past month. And she's going to get that win back that she lost at WrestleMania last year when she dropped the belt to Bayley.
That's interesting. I see the case now. I actually think we've talked about Seth Rollins' heel turn. I think this is where we get Bianca Belair heel turn. I think she's been hinting at it. She's been doing some, being really complaining and whiny about things. I think, she's well overdue for a singles run. We got a good year of her, and we got tired of it. And then they said, okay, cool, we're going to put her tag team help with Jade. And she's, did everything, was a great employee, and did all the things she needed to. And now she gets a turn to be a solo star again. I think it's a heel. Like we've seen everything we can with Bianca Belair. Like this is time for her to be bad. I think she's going to turn and she's going to win a title. Andrew, what do you think of this? Do we get heel Bianca, or do you think it'll be somebody else?
I can't rule out the Bianca Belair heel turn, but I think we're actually building towards a Rhea Ripley heel turn, and I think she's going to snap on Monday Night Raw. So I see a situation in which she hits a riptide, she's about to pin Io, and then Bianca Belair throws her out the ring. I think because we've been building, right? Like Rhea's been getting more angry. She's really out of character, very aggressive, not thinking as much, right? Or thinking things through, should I say. So I think we're going to get Bianca Belair wins, but we're going to get Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair coming out of WrestleMania.
Okay. Oh, and before I forget, Bianca was a heel in NXT.
Yeah, it just seems like forever
when she first started out. Yeah.
Yep. Jose, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, we got Rhea, we got Bianca, we got Io. What's your thoughts on this one?
I almost feel like pleading no contest just to keep it, tied all across the board. But Matt, you touched on the point that I was going to touch on, and Jay, I'm with you on this one. I think Bianca's going to be the one to win here. I think we get heel Bianca back. I think we get, you don't even go here Bianca back from NXT. You know what I mean? Like she was. Yeah. That's kind of where she got over in the first place. That attitude, that swagger that she had, stepping in. Ironically, with a feud that Rhea was having at the time, to where she was kind of interjecting herself into the title picture and really shining. And then when she got called up to the main roster, she's been a a face for pretty much all of that, if I'm not mistaken. But like, this is the time for her to show a little bit of heel character, almost like, big time Bex. Put over Bianca back in WrestleMania 38, I think it was. This is, Bianca's time to be kind of big time Bianca and really run with that heel persona and do some really interesting things. I think Bianca has the potential to be a really fun heel on the main roster. She's probably chomping at the bit for a chance to do that at this point.
Yeah, agree 1,000%. Moving on to our last match in this WrestleMania 41 predictions roundtable, and that is the main event of night 2. WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes defends the title against John Cena. A fascinating build to this. That, they're mostly talking, a little bit of touching. John Cena, I think I saw a couple days ago that he will be on the final SmackDown before WrestleMania. They look like he might not appear until WrestleMania. Just based off of history and how it's been playing out, which I think Cody Rhodes has done a fantastic job of remaining super strong, because it can easily be one of those things where, the good guy forever turns heel and it gets the cool factor. But also John Cena has done a splendid job of not feeding into that, staying true to the story, staying true to the star of the future and making him look good, but building an interesting story. But it just feels like John Cena's going to win. Like, Cody's been getting the upper hand a little bit here. I think it would we've been talking about a waste of certain ideas and storylines. If something didn't happen, I would feel like it might be a waste for him to lose here. Andrew, is this kind of also a predictable one? John Cena wins here, or is there a case to be made that Cody should win?
Swerve. Now, think about it. We have John Cena, who's a heel, who will likely have The Rock at ringside. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to go off the air of WrestleMania with a heel John Cena who has vowed to ruin wrestling by retiring as champion. No. Look, John can get his 17th time later this year. Maybe Jay. Who knows? But no, not here, not now, not as a heel. Cody Rhodes retains and sends the crowd home happy.
Wow, I like it. I think that's probably the right thing to do. I mean, Cody is a star. Matt, do you agree this is a Cody win, or it just has to be Cena so he can get the title? We can go the next few months fearing that he's going to take the title with him and be the last real champion.
Well, Andrew does bring up an interesting point. Let's face it, going into the Royal Rumble, who didn't think John Cena wasn't going to win it? And when it was down to him and Jay, you're thinking, it's going to be Cena. And holy crap, no. As much as I want to agree with Andrew, I think Cena gets put over for the 17th time at WrestleMania. If you're going to put him over to break Ric Flair's record, I think you're going to do it at WrestleMania. I don't think you're going to do it at SummerSlam or another PLE. And putting over Cena now, you get him into feuds with CM Punk, Randy Orton, maybe a guy like Braun Breaker, putting him over while not losing the title. And then he ends up dropping it back to Cody later on in the year before he retires. Or maybe when he retires, his last match.
I think you both make great points, because there is a point, a case that we made. Cody should win it here, and going off the air for WrestleMania Night 2 with the bad guy winning is a tough one. But it's if Cena loses, where do you go next? Does his heel turn lose the sizzle? Maybe that's part of the story, because they're definitely putting together a very long-term story, because I think we all feel that this is heading Darth Vader. He's gone heel, but he's going to redeem at the end. And he's going to he can't go heel and end his career as a bad guy. He's going to redeem. So maybe there's story past he has to go on to realize, even cheating and going this route did not work. That's not who I am. But Jose, I'm going to let you be the tiebreaker in here. What do you think? Is it John, and because he's heel turn, you got to make the most out of it and start these feuds with the Ortons, the same Punk, stuff like that? Or can you not end WrestleMania Night 2 with the bad guy winning? We've only seen it, I think I can recall one time when Triple H was the guy who went off the air and he got helped, although we also forgot Stone Cold heel turn. So there's a couple times we've seen WrestleMania end with the bad guys win. What's your pick?
As much as Andrew was selling me on that swerve, and it sounds really, really delicious to be able to do that, and kind of, change expectations, I think it's going to be Cena. I think the story writes itself going forward. I think we're all married to the idea of Cena getting the 17th title on the big stage as a heel of all things. and just really, taking on all those matches that Matt mentioned, taking on AJ Styles, taking on Randy Orton, taking on CM Punk, who has the potential to take the title off him as well if they don't give it back to Cody. I think that that's the way to go. And that's been what they've been leading up to the whole time. It really is going to be an interesting story. And, Cena almost being the part-time champion like Roman has been, like he accused The Rock of being back in the day. It's like, he really is the self-fulfilling prophecy of being just a hypocrite and just really cementing himself in that role. It's going to be too much for WWE to resist. There's so much that they can do with that. And I think that can go in. And if there's any time to really break the mold and have a heel go off the air of WrestleMania as the champion, Cena's they got to pull that off.
Well, that is it for our WrestleMania 41 picks. As always, thank you, Matt Higgins, for the time, Andrew Ravensing, and of course, Jose Maldonado, my Jey Uso. I am Jason Burgos. Until next time, everybody, bye-bye.